If you've ever wondered how to create content that actually moves the needle in your small business, if you're wondering how to actually use content to attract more clients and customers and not just dance for the algorithms or chase vanity metrics, this is the video for you. We're going to break down my 6-step profitable content blueprint coming up. Well, hey you, and welcome to the Profitable Content Playbook. I'm so excited that you are downloading it. This is a video that hopefully you clicked on from the PDF that walks you through how to get started. And of course, we have a more in-depth podcast episode as well as an upcoming YouTube video that'll walk you through more and more of the strategy, but I just wanted to quickly help you fill it out if you haven't watched that yet, just to give you an idea of how to get started. So the Profitable Content Blueprint, of course, is all about creating content with a purpose, creating content that is profitable, creating content that actually helps to move the needle in your business rather than just content that, chases the algorithm or chases more likes or more followers, which we want all of those things, but not at the expense of attracting buyers into our communities, our audiences. And so here's what you want to start off with. Number one, you want to think about your profit goals. Getting clear on how much you want to make every single month, every single year, maybe even every single quarter. It's just smart business, advice and something we all should be doing regardless. And you also want to think in veins of how many clients or customers you want to be closing through your content or just in general. You also want to think about your offers and how you're going to be connecting each post, each content piece back to the thing that you sell. Because again, we want to create value, we want to serve through our content, but we also want to lead people to our paid offerings. And number three, we're going to talk about magnetizing, right? How are you going to build the relationship with your potential followers, but also change that relationship from just mere followers into actual leads and eventually buyers. Next, we're going to zoom out into your strategy and think big picture so that you really figure out a clear way to post, to figure out what the platform it is that you need to be on, how often you're going to be posting, and then you're going to say goodbye to the random acts of content. We gave a shout out to our friend Sean Cannell who came up. He coined the term random acts of content, not kindness. We want to keep the random acts of kindness going, but now the random acts of content. That means we want to be intentional about speaking to your people with content ideas that are actually going to give them answers and not more information and add to the noise, especially if you want to compete against AI created or generated content. And finally, we're going to add a call to action. We want to be intentional about telling people what they should do next, how they could work with you, how they should sign up, for your email list or whatever that next step is in your selling process. All right. So real quick here, I'm going to guide you through how do you actually fill in this worksheet. So we talked about all the different points. You can refer back to them at any time. And we want to just get started with the profit goals. And so really, this is just a very simple process. And so we talked about in that space, right? How much do you want to make and how many customers do you want to close? So let's say that just an arbitrary number, let's say that you want to make $5,000 a month. Maybe that's your first profit milestone. And in order to figure out how many customers you want to add, you could just guesstimate to begin with, but a better way of doing this is really understanding your numbers. And we have an entire workshop inside of the Business Lounge, our flagship program. It's called the Profit Plan that walks you through all your numbers in your business, how you should be tracking them. But for now, because I know you're not there yet, let's talk about how this actually works. So depending on what you sell, maybe you sell services, or maybe you sell courses, or maybe you sell physical products, you want to add here your top 3 to 5 offers. And so for our business, for example, we will have the Business Lounge, which is, again, like I mentioned, our flagship program that is at the moment $1,000 to $2,000 a year, depending on the plan you take. And then we go into maybe Content Calendar System, which is our other product. It's also $1,000. And then we offer services because we're a hybrid company. And so we have everything from our TBL Plus group coaching tier, that's $5,000 a year. And then we also have our TPL coaching one-on-one service, and that one ranges from $18,000 to $36,000 a year, right? So $18,000 here to $36,000 a year. But for you, it might be something totally different, and that's okay. We just want to add what that looks like here. So maybe you have a service, right? Let's say that you are selling, let's see, social media management services, or maybe you are selling web design. You want to add here what your most popular services look like. Maybe you have packages or that kind of thing. And that's really awesome, because what that allows you to do is just add those and have an idea of how much those cost. So let's say that your web design, right? And so maybe your first package or your first service, let's say it's $500. And then the next one is, let's say, $1,200. $1,200. And maybe package number 3 is $2,000, right? Okay, great. So this gives you an idea of what your different offers are. Now, in order to figure out how much you need to sell, we're just going to pull up here our calculator real quick and say, okay, so if we want to make $5,000, let's say that we break it down and say, okay, we're going to get one $2,000 client a month, right? Or we're going to close it, I don't know, depending on how you want to calculate this. You can figure that out, but we're going to start with a month because it's the easiest. So let's say that for us, it's going to be one $2,000 client, right? And then we're going to get two $500 clients and maybe one extra $1,200 client. That roughly gives us $5,200 a month. And again, you want to break this down however you want. Like if you want to keep it really simple, you can add on all of these numbers and then average them out to come up with an average cost, or you can go in there and say, all right, well, I just want to sell just the one product, right? And so I know that I need 10 people at the $500 mark to hit $5,000 a month. Now, you have your offers, you have your profit goals. Now we're going to talk about how you're going to magnetize people and switch their relationship. Now, you could do this in a variety of different ways. You've probably heard the term lead magnet. But what that does is it allows you to change the relationship with someone. So very much like this lead magnet that I created for you, you will create a resource, a class, an audio, a coupon code, a workshop, a webinar, a free course, whatever it is that you want to create to kind of switch the relationship with someone who just found you on the internet, or maybe has been around on your social media or your blog or your podcast for a while, but hasn't subscribed to your email list, hasn't really given you permission to contact them on a regular basis with more valuable content and occasional promotions. This is the place to do it. So you want to just brainstorm a couple lead magnet ideas. For example, if I was a web designer, then I would probably have a web design checklist. Maybe I would have a how to hire a web designer guide. Maybe I would do a color palette, maybe like a website color palette guide, right? So like I know that people get confused on how to create an actual palette, and that might be a way to do it. So you want to think about, again, how can you change that relationship? And we're basically, if you look at it, we're reverse engineering the process to selling and making sure that we have a clear pathway so that our content, again, isn't random, but has purpose behind it. And hey, if you're enjoying this behind the scenes walkthrough and strategy so far, make sure to check out the accompanying podcast episode where we dive in even deeper, give you even more examples, and really break down this entire notion of profitable content creation. So there's a link below in the description. Let's get back to the blueprint. Okay, next is strategy. So you want to think about some quick questions. If you look back here, you'll see we're zooming out and talking about platform. What is your ideal platform? How often do you need to post? Oftentimes we're doing too much and we want to focus on 1 to 2 core platforms, not more than that. And so when you do that, you want to think about, okay, so am I going to go all in on a podcast, on a blog, on a YouTube channel? Are my supporting platforms going to be something like Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest? Write that down here. This is a place for you to really think about your strategy. And so maybe for me, if I'm a web designer, I'm going to do something visual. So maybe I'm going to do YouTube, and that's going to be my pillar platform. That means that's my number 1 focus. And maybe I'm going to have a supportive platform that's Facebook, right? And that's going to be my supportive platform. Now on YouTube, I want to post at least 1 time per week. And on Facebook, I'm going to try to post 1 time per day. And maybe I'm going to give myself weekends off. It's totally up to you. Cool. So I have that clear. It's written down. Now I'm going to start brainstorming some post ideas. And really what this comes down to is thinking about your ideal client and doing some research. We have a ton of awesome resources to help you figure this out. If you go over to our blog and you just type in, content ideas, you'll find a ton of them. We just recently did a video on Google Gemini and how to find content ideas there. But really, it comes down to the person first. So who is your ideal client? Write that down. Figure out what they like, what they don't like, and maybe start out with some questions that you get asked often. You can also start in and do some research on Google and start typing in some keywords in your niche. For example, web design for beginners, if we're continuing with our web design example here. You can also use YouTube or Pinterest to find content ideas in your niche, but the idea here is to start with the right person and speak to them very clearly in your messaging instead of just putting out content that you think will be fun and entertaining. Really think about your ideal client. What are they having challenges with? What are they struggling with? How can you get them a quick win with your content so that they trust you, they like you, they hire you? Okay, so you're going to write down all your content ideas here. And next is your call to action. How are you going to start moving people from your content over to your website, from your content over to booking a call with you, from your content over to maybe that webinar or a sales call or a discovery call? How can you do that here? And so we want to think about what are different calls to action. So maybe you're going to invite people to sign up for your lead magnet, right? And you want to write that down. Maybe, magnet, here we go. Maybe you want to tell them to book a free discovery call with you, right? Maybe you want to tell them to watch your webinar or free class. What are some calls to action that you could add to every single post that would tell people exactly what to do next to work with you? Write them down, get it started. And listen, this is going to set you up for so much success as you really embark on this journey of turning your content into more customers. And so great job so far. I wanted to give you a little bit of a roadmap for where you're at. There's really 3 steps in creating content that's profitable, that actually moves the needle in your business. And the first one, you just got done in this lead magnet workbook. So great job getting that done. The next step is to turn more of your content into customers consistently. That's where you're going to learn how to actually create content that converts, how to get inside of your ideal client's mind so that you're creating content that they actually care about. And we're also going to talk about how to save a ton of time and energy using the 3 R's method. So you're never having to constantly create content from scratch. You're going to be able to reuse a lot of your content. You're going to be able to recreate it. You're going to be able to repurpose it in new and creative ways, but you got to get the skills. And hey, that's exactly what I'm going to teach you in our Content to Customers 3-part workshop. And you can sign up right here. Just click on this button. You can use the code BLUEPRINT content to get 90% off. I don't know how long we're going to do this, but it's going to be like $10, which is awesome. So definitely sign up here. You can learn more about it here. It's going to be an awesome 3-part workshop. It's going to give you a 5-step roadmap for creating content that just seamlessly turns followers into buyers, even if you don't know where to start, which is awesome. And you can also see all the praise we've gotten. This is just a little snippet. You can see more on the actual sign up page here. And if we click on it, you'll be taken right over to that page where you can enroll, and you'll see here all about that workshop, what we're going to be talking about. I've even broken down the strategy day by day, so you can actually take a peek here at what we've done. And let me just scroll down so I can show you all the details for those of you who are my analytical folks who want all the breakdown of what we're going to cover. You're going to see it right here, day 1, day 2, day 3. And what's awesome is that this is on demand, so you can get started right now. So make sure to come on over, use the code Blueprint. Again, I don't know for how long we're going to be doing this, but it's very special just for you guys, especially because you've done the work with the Blueprint. So that's really set you up for serious success. And I'm so excited for you to click off and check off this step in your journey. I'm serious. If you have this and you have content to customers, the last step is the marketing success path. You're just going to make leaps and bounds with your content creation, as well as with growing a profitable online business. So I'm super excited, and I hope to see you inside.